I want to start off talking about trade and tariff policy. Obviously, a big T word in President Trump's vocabulary has been trade and tariffs, most specifically. Where do we stand on tariff policy? Obviously, the Supreme Court struck down these tariffs. President Trump said, I'm going to try another way. Where are we in the tariff world?
Yeah, so he's got about four other authorities under three laws, and some of these laws date back to 1930. The infamous Smoot Hawley tariff deal that supposedly set off the Great Depression. It was actually banks, but anyway. So he's got these long-standing authorities. They've stood the test of time. They've been used 100 times. And these are things like anti-dumping, discrimination against U.S. commerce, national security, which, of course, as you know, is infinitely, extendable. So, for example, under today, before the Supreme Court, under national security tariffs, we're blocking Chinese upholstered furniture, which is a national security emergency if ever there was one. So the moral of the story is that he can reimpose all these under these other authorities, and that looks like what he's going to try to do. The numbers that matter for him when he sort of pitched the tariffs, one of them, there were two purposes to the tariffs, and one of them was to get other countries to remove their trade barriers, and then the other was to reshore investment into America, right? Because if you don't achieve those two objectives, then it's just a tax, right? You're simply taxing. Some of it is being paid by Chinese, some of it is being paid by Americans. It's just a tax. So those were really the two pitches, and we just had new trade numbers come in. The trade deficit for December, which is the most recent number, is about 70 billion. That's about 30% lower than it was for the equivalent month of Biden's last year, so up 30%. But actually, a big chunk of that was gold and silver. So as you know, we've been importing massive quantities of gold and silver. Those show up as imports, but when Americans are upset about imports, or when Donald Trump is upset about imports, he's not worried about importing everybody else's gold, right? This is drinking their milkshake, right? So if you control for that, then the across the board first year of Trump's tariffs, the trade deficit went down by about a third, by about 300 billion. So he's going to register that as a win. And then the other one is the factory reshoring. So, Trump likes big numbers. And so he's talked, it was 4 trillion, 9 trillion, 18 trillion. It's, just shy of a gazillion. But at any rate, it does look like we've got trillions of dollars coming into reshore manufacturing here. Now, a lot of that had been strong-armed by Trump in his trade deals. So he squeezed, I think, 550 billion out of Japan, some similar from Korea, about twice that from Europe, something like 4 times that out of the Middle East. The idea being that these countries would build facilities, they would build factories or, oil export terminals. They would build this infrastructure in the U.S., and in return, Trump would give them a break on tariffs. And the reason he's doing that is because general rule of thumb is $1 trillion of investment is worth about 1 million jobs, right? So that is a huge deal. Like if it's 4 trillion, the U.S. economy in a normal year only invests about 4 trillion. The vast majority of that is maintaining or replacing worn out infrastructure. If you pour 4 trillion on top of that, never mind 18 trillion, you are generating millions of jobs. That's what Trump promised. He feels like that's why people voted for him, especially blue collars. So in his mind, the tariffs are doing exactly what they were intended. Now, a lot of it's not showing up in the numbers. Like all those factories, so far, it looks like we've only got about 200 billion of them actually logged because factories take a long time, right? So Taiwan Semiconductor, for example, is a big factory out in Arizona. $100 billion are putting into it. That will create, rule of thumb, 100,000, what is that, 100,000 jobs. However, it's about 6 years from blueprint to actually putting somebody on the assembly line. So a lot of that reshoring has not happened yet. But he wants it to continue, and he's probably going to use those other trade authorities. In fact, it took him roughly 3 hours to come out and say that, screw the Supreme Court. He added that their families should be embarrassed about them. And then, he talked about these other trade authorities that he was going to replace them with. So I think tariffs are here to stay. The other thing is that a lot of Europeans or Chinese, they might be looking at the calendar thinking Trump's only got 3 years left in office. But the thing is, Biden kept almost all of Trump's first-term tariffs. Right. So Democrats have loved tariffs since forever. Traditionally, it was Republicans who were fighting tariffs because they were, serving big business or uh, but like working regular American voters love tariffs. They're willing to pay more for stuff if it's made in America. The crony companies, of course, absolutely love tariffs because they would love to ban the opposition. So I think however much bubbly they popped in champagne last week, Trump's going to continue doing the tariffs with other authorities. And even if Trump loses in 2028, Democrats realistically are going to continue them.
And what do you think about this idea? I spoke with the economist Dr. Arthur Laffer, who has said, well, Trump is a free trader at heart. He's using these tariffs as a big stick to get people to the negotiating table. If you look at his track record, he started with this, tariff threat. And by the end of his first term, the tariffs were actually lower on average than when he started with. He made these trade deals, USMC being a big one. Do you think that that same plan is happening? We just have Trump amnesia, forgetting that, hey, he said he's going to use tariffs and then he had lower tariffs by the end of his first term. Do you think the same exact game plan is happening in Trump's second term?
Yeah, he definitely threatens a lot more than he than actually happens. This is the taco trade, so-called Trump always chickens out. He cuts deals. I think that with a number of countries, he's basically cut deals with them where he dramatically reduced the tariffs in exchange for them allowing in U.S. goods. I don't know that he's a free trader 100% across the board. I think he's closer to Reagan, right? So Ronald Reagan, in general, he was a free trader. He's very skeptical of government in general, which would imply tariffs as well. But Reagan had a lot of tariffs. He focused, at the time, the issue was Japan. So at this point, half of Japanese cars sold in America are made in America, which is not far from what the big three do, because they've, meanwhile, offshored a lot over to Canada and Mexico. So, I think Trump is basically the same playbook as Reagan, which is he's very, very interested in reducing trade barriers. He can be bought with American jobs, right? So if you, ship $1 trillion in the U.S. and create 1 million jobs, he'll look the other way on pretty much everything else. I think that's a good thing, no matter whether you're a free trader or not. You want a president who's, willing to do what it takes to bring jobs into the country. In terms of is he secretly pining for, zero tariff world? I think the jury's out. I think he's probably closer to Reagan.